Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Katie, and this is The Housewife Did It.
Pop Culture Edition.
Mm, 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 mm. Alright. Any burning thoughts before we just talk about people?
No.
Okay. Alright. Straight into it. Did anyone else see that Tom Sandoval made a fool of himself on Teddy Mellencamp and Tamra Judge's podcast talking about his relationship with Rachel? And strangely, he reposted it, which I just thought, are you, leaving that proud?
Do you feel good about this?
Strange. Weird flex. They basically grilled him about, I thought you were, in love with this girl. You, risked. I mean, you did lose it, but you lost a whole fucking marriage for this girl. And then, why didn't you fight for her?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, no, I did fight for her. So hard, in fact, did I fight for her, that I stopped drinking and smoking cigarettes for her while she was in treatment because she couldn't drink or smoke cigarettes.
First of all, I mean, huge sacrifice.
Yeah,
obviously.
Wow.
Secondly, would she have been able to know that?
Yeah. Were you calling and being like, oh, I'll suffer with ya? Also, not at all that she should feel this way, but, how do you think that makes someone who was with him for 9 years feel? That asked him to, just stop going out so much, and he wouldn't even do that. And now he's like, I literally haven't had a drink in 8 months for this girl who doesn't even want to be with me.
Yeah.
He then said, oh God, here's where it gets bad. He said, quote, she came into her own and she got this confidence and she went too far and she got herself in a position, but she did that herself. She didn't have to come on to a guy in a relationship like she did. She came on to a guy in a relationship who was severely depressed. I had no confidence. So Tamra Judge says, oh, so she made the first move. And he said, yeah, she did. She made the first move.
It takes two to tango, baby.
Also, what? I'm just what? Did he just think enough time had passed that now he should, drop more whammies? I'm not understanding.
Yeah. And I think that, with Scandoval, we've always said, both of them are guilty, but also, Rachel wasn't in a relationship. Mm-hmm. So if she wants to make a move on someone, mm-hmm. she doesn't have to think as hard about it. Mm-hmm. Although she shouldn't be making a move on someone who's in a relationship, obviously. But you are in a relationship, so in my opinion, if somebody, tried to kiss me, I would be like, oh, excuse me. Mm-hmm. I have a person already. I'm good.
Yeah.
That would be, my natural instinct reaction. Not oh, no, maybe we shouldn't. I would think, I would hope that my partner would also be back it up.
Right.
I don't think so.
Yeah, and I think, when you picture that scenario, you think, he describes her as having, confidence. She had the confidence to make a move on someone in a relationship. And you think, if someone made a move on you, or me, for example, knowing that we were married, we'd say, God damn, that's bold, but no, thank you. But did it really take that much confidence when it worked on the first try?
Right.
When also they didn't hook up until after, a few nights after that boys' night. I have a feeling that conversation that we see them sitting on the curb and having at boys' night mm-hmm. was possibly them feeling it out. So that night she could have said, I wonder if it would work if I made a move on him. And he probably made it very clear that it would. It probably did not take that much confidence with a person like Tom Sandoval. You
Also,
know the
like,
chances of him turning you down are pretty low.
yeah, and I think even this season, I don't think I would ever use the word confident to describe Rachel.
No, but
I
I
think
think he's trying to flip.
everything,
I think he's trying to flip the victim story that he had no
yeah,
confidence and she was so confident.
yeah. I think everything she does is like built out of insecurity. So I
I
also
agree.
think like it's possible. Did she think I'm gonna make a move? It might be easier to make a move on him knowing she would get rejected and that like it would be like low stakes
Mm-hmm.
in a way.
Yeah.
Like just trying it out and
Mm-hmm.
then it didn't get rejected.
Yeah. I also think he like kind of runs on the assumption that we believe all of his other stories. So
Yeah.
like Tom, we all kind of believe that you said to her at Coachella in April, we're
Mhm.
in an open relationship, like she wouldn't even be mad. So, but it's like he goes into these things and he starts telling these off the cuff stories, but it's always based on the assumption that we have believed everything else that he has
Right.
said. And it's like, dude, I don't believe maybe she made the first move that night, but no one believes that she made the first move out of all of the moves because we
Right.
know that you said this to her and you at least put it in her mind. And yeah, I mean, I think to your point, like, I just like, maybe I am so wrong and this is still a misreading of Raquel as we knew her as a character. But like, I just think it's like so hard to picture her being like, I'm gonna set myself up to be rejected. I think I'm gonna hit on this guy in a relationship and I'm gonna risk it and I'm gonna know that he might turn me down, but I'm gonna try it anyway. No, she had to know he was gonna be
Right.
down. Like, she wouldn't have done that. She doesn't want to be rejected. But, um, on the other side of this, Ariana Madix continues her long string of successes. She has announced that she will be touring on Broadway in the show Chicago as Roxy Hart. I
I cannot
actually,
wait to see that bitch sing Cell Block
yeah.
Tango.
I also did not know that she like had a theater degree and had like moved to New York for that in the past. Obviously I knew like she's in LA on Vanderpump Rules. She had like dreams of being an actress, but um yeah, I was a little shocked to hear that. But I had seen all these rumors that Tom Sandoval was starting to sweat that since he didn't win Special Forces, he like really didn't want her to win Dancing with the Stars. And like just for that reason, I like wanted her to win. Like I just wanted him to make it to the very end but not win and her to make it to the very end and win. But
Mhm.
I also think that like that is the most ridiculous thing ever for him to be sweating about because like she is clearly already like winning.
Right.
Like in sheer number, like you
Right.
even if he had won Special Forces by himself, only winner in the
Yeah.
whole thing, dude, she's got a book deal.
She's so far above.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter. Silly.
Speaking of Dancing with the Stars,
Mm-hmm.
um, Xochitl Gomez won Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
I would assume you do in your household.
Yes. Billy didn't actually. So
What?
well, he doesn't know young female
But I mean, if
Marvel
he like,
characters by name.
but if like he saw her,
Yeah, I showed
she's
him,
she was
and
also in the Babysitters Club.
I've never seen that.
It was good. I get so sad when I think about that it got canceled.
Mm.
Anyway, I believe she's the first non-adult winner of
Mm-hmm.
Dancing with the Stars. She's 17, so that's pretty cool. Um, Dancing with the Stars finale night is like I like Dancing with the Stars. I watch Dancing with the Stars. Now I started watching once Hannah Brown went on, but I would just watch the finale if given the opportunity because it's so good. So each finalist got to do a redemption dance and a freestyle while the show put on a lot of group dances and went through like memories of the season. They had past winners come on, like Hannah Brown and Charlie D'Amelio. I didn't know any of the other ones, so I'm not mentioning them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the freestyle dances, and I love freestyle dances because they're so much fun to watch, because they're very like personal, but you also can put like any kind of move in it.
Yeah.
They almost always get perfect scores for them, and the celebrities are so relaxed with them compared to the other styles.
Yeah.
So Charity went first, and she did a cheer routine. It was unlike anything I have ever seen on Dancing with the Stars, and is possibly my favorite routine ever. Um, it was so cool. She's an ex-professional cheerleader, so she was absolutely amazing. They had her as like a flyer doing stunts. She was doing basket tosses, and
Yeah.
it was awesome. Um, and then Jason went next, and I don't know how else to describe his routine. It was like a very quick, bouncy, like retro feeling routine. It was really great. It was cool.
Yeah, it was very like 1920s. I like
Yes.
really loved
It
it.
was like a sock hop.
Yeah, yeah. That's the word, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
I think it was like my favorite.
It was really good.
Also, I'm
Um,
going to interrupt. You have like a lot of background noise. I don't know if it's from your new chair or your hands or what. But Billy has been struggling with editing, so I just thought I'd let you know. I venture to say maybe we try it where you can hear yourself again.
mm-hmm.
But I fear it. I fear the echoing.
I can try. Oh.
I feel like we need a permanent solution somewhere. La 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 la. Well, it only happens when you're moving, and I am now echoing. So,
Oh, I see. Because I keep doing this with my leg.
yeah. But okay. I'm echoing when you have it plugged in now.
I'll just stop moving.
Okay. Never move. I know. I feel like podcasters must have like stationary chairs.
Must have what?
Like stationary chairs, because yeah, I think like mine as I move is noisy.
This is my first time having a
moving one,
swivel chair.
Oh, okay.
And also my restless leg syndrome is kicking in.
Uh-oh.
So my legs hurt really bad.
Uh-oh.
So I keep rubbing it against my desk. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I think it was cute. Ariana and Pasha basically did like a boys versus girls dance off, which was like wild to watch. It wasn't like the whole time, but that's what it turned into. It was very cool.
Yeah, it was like Charity's was giving like Bring It On, and then Ariana's was giving like Step Up.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting.
To the streets.
To the streets.
Yes. Allison danced to Enchanted and then made an American Pie reference that transitioned them into a cha-cha like song, which in my opinion was not the move, because she was killing that Swiftie moment and she looked so awkward in the second half. Like, her moves during Enchanted were so good.
Mm-hmm.
Harry cried every time she danced, because apparently they were besties and he was so proud of her. And then she also got her first 10 of the season from Bruno for her freestyle, but she only got the 110 for her freestyle. I also found it interesting that she made an American Pie reference, because she has mentioned before, like in interviews, that she regrets being in American Pie.
Yeah, interesting.
And then Xochitl had them make an ofrenda and did a dance to celebrate her family and her culture, which then transitioned into like a Latino Urbano style dance. Mm-hmm. It was like simply like so impressive.
Mm-hmm.
She did amazing per usual. Her facials are always on point. It was so good.
Yeah, I thought like both parts of her costume, like when she took the skirt off and went to the pants, I was like, whoa,
Hmm.
like it got even better.
Yeah, I thought when I saw like, because I watched it like a day late, and so I saw her post about like having them make the ofrenda, and I was like, oh, they like redid their Coco dance, which is weird because that their Coco dance was so good,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, no, they just did a different one.
Yeah. On to another Gomez. Selena Gomez has taken to the internet and started both confirming and then defending her relationship with Benny Blanco. She replied to Pop Factions, so they posted that she has seemingly confirmed she was in a relationship, and she commented back and said, facts. Then, in a bunch of comments about how Benny Blanco is a downgrade for her, she has clapped back, if you will. She says he's better than anyone she's ever been with. He's the best thing that's ever happened to her. She will no longer be dating fuckboys. She has since posted a selfie of them on her story and then a photo of a diamond ring on her finger with a B on it.
Who is Benny Blanco?
He's like a DJ.
Okay.
He's just not like super hot, is like why people are saying that. And then she like people are commenting back to her. And okay, so apparently also there's some tea that like in the past he had like said something about like Justin Bieber isn't like one of those cookie cutter artists or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he said it, people thought this was like years ago that he thought he was like shading her. And so now they're like, now you're dating a guy that shaded you and you're fighting with your fans to defend him. Like, you look stupid. Which I think, like, I'm getting, like, Maddie Healy PTSD a little bit. But also, like, I don't know that there's, like, a whole lot to verify that he was shading her.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
He's cute.
Yeah. I mean, I think people were just like, she's dated people like Justin Bieber and Taylor Lautner and like hotter people, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I will say, like, if you're dating The Weeknd, like, I don't know that Benny Blanco is like that far off from that.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Let the girl
Interesting.
be happy.
Yeah, I think like, look, I think somebody pointed out like it's so nice that Taylor Swift is now dating like a hot guy and not like a pale, sickly Englishman. And I think like great. But also like vice versa. If you have been dating hot guys and it hasn't been working and you want someone who you like just not because they're hot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like we also just like have to remember the fans that are probably coming for her. I don't know. I don't mean this like mean, but like those of us who are lay people and don't look like Selena Gomez and aren't famous, we have to date people who are pretty like regular looking. And we don't get to date Taylor Lautners and stuff. So like I doubt her fans are out here with men that look like Taylor Lautner, so like chill out. All right, and now on to the big news, really, what we're all here for. Taylor Swift. So, that's what we're here on this earth for now, actually. So, the Tree Paine and Deuxmoi tiff continues to be talked about. Doesn't seem that it has continued, but people are still discussing it. So, apparently, upon some more digging, Deuxmoi had posted and has since deleted a blind item theorizing that Taylor had a miscarriage and that is what You're Losing Me is about. People are bringing this up because they wonder if that is what got T-Pain so riled, that like maybe it was more than just the marriage story. And that they really did want to, that Tree really did want to defend like Taylor's right to privacy about a possible miscarriage. So the blind item basically says that like the song is about two people drifting apart after pregnancy loss, and then they believe that it coincides with the whole idea of her and Joe having a non-legal wedding ceremony. Perhaps they got married when they found out they were pregnant, but then experienced pregnancy loss and then never got the license finalized. I'll read a little bit of the blind item, which to me the blind item is like entirely speculative, but whatever. It says, I always figured You're Losing Me was a song about a couple growing apart after pregnancy loss. I remember, Jesus Christ. They cite the lyric, remember looking at this room, we loved it because of the light. They equate that to a nursery. Then the lyric, do I throw everything out, everything we built, or keep it? And this person equates that to baby furniture. The lyric, the air is thick with loss and indecision. And then obviously there's like a pulse/heartbeat throughout the song, which I actually think the heartbeat thing might be like the strongest point. You know?
Yeah. That's true.
But I think a room having light in it is a little far-fetched that it's a nursery. And do we throw out everything we built or keep it? I don't know how we're like proving that that's baby furniture. It could be any furniture or
I would never in
metaphorical.
A million years, yeah, I would never in a million years believe that Taylor Swift said that and legitimately meant things that she physically built with her hands.
Yeah, like I think we loved this room because of the light. Her and Joe lived in places together.
Yeah.
Her and lots of people have like come on now. So basically I want to pick your brain and get into a discussion about this because I struggle with like all of this. So basically, like, is Deuxmoi in the wrong here for posting any sort of speculation about something so personal? And is this any different than what Swifties do daily online?
I think it is different.
Okay.
Than what Swifties do daily
because
online.
Swifties wouldn't speculate about a miscarriage? Like, that's the part that's too far?
I think that if I don't know. I think that it's like I think it's because it's not Deuxmoi themselves speculating. Like it feels more like spreading a rumor.
Okay.
When you take it from someone else and like repost it.
It's not like a theory, like a fan theory.
Like, yeah, like I think if you were like, this song reminds me of this, I wonder if that's what it's about. Like feels different from like taking a full explanation of it and screenshotting it and posting it and saying like, what do we think of this? People comment. Like, you know.
I guess I always think the opposite because I think like because it's not Deuxmoi's idea, like why are we mad at them like for just sharing something? But I mean, I guess I that's true that like I didn't really think of it as like we would think it was icky to spread a rumor about someone having a miscarriage. Yeah. It would be one thing to like kindly look at those lyrics, maybe make a TikTok and say, "Huh, like I wonder if they suffered something, like suffered a loss." But then also in the blind item, this person speculates like there was a blind item from September 2021 about a pregnant A-list pop star, so it must have been or like what if it was about her? And I think like that also obviously ties back to Deuxmoi, like it all comes back to stuff that they've shared. So
yeah, I also like I think so for example, a girl we went to high school with, who got married a little before I did, I noticed a while ago that she no longer has pictures of her husband on Instagram, and now that she's dating someone. So I was like, oh, like they must have gotten divorced.
Right.
And I think if I were to tell you, like, hey, so and so looks like she got divorced, isn't that crazy? I think would be different from if
Right.
I like texted everyone I knew from high school and was like, so and so got divorced, and here's how I know. Here are all the reasons.
True. Yeah.
And then they like shared it with other people, you know?
Yeah. That's true. Next thought, do we think that Taylor Swift and Tree Payne are on the same page here? Like when Tree Payne responded to Deuxmoi. My assumption would be that they are. Um, like I assume Tree Payne's not just speaking without checking with Taylor. And I absolutely do not mean to say this that like in a way that sounds like famous people like sign up for negative attention. I don't believe that. But I would think that Taylor seems to know how Swifties work, and that if she absolutely did not want a specific material to be speculated on, like perhaps a miscarriage, that she would not have written a song like Bigger Than the Whole Sky, or perhaps would have left these lines out of You're Losing Me, although I think they're a bit of a reach. But yeah, like I don't really get the sense that Taylor like wants people to like not know stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I do think that Tree would defend Taylor regardless of if Taylor wanted her to. Just because
okay.
I think we've seen like at like the 1989 premiere, she said like, "You see that redhead woman over there? Like, I'm
She
gonna do
tells
what
me
she
what to do.
says.
Yeah.
Yeah, she tells me what to do, so I don't get in trouble." And so I think that like as her publicist, that's kind of Tree Payne's job, is to assess the situation and decide what the best response is going to be. And we've also seen like in Miss Americana, we saw directly Taylor disagreeing with Tree. And so like I think that I think that I think I don't think she would have run it by Taylor before defending it.
Okay.
Or arguing with Deuxmoi. However, I do think that typically it seems like they are on the same page.
Yeah.
Just in general. And so like I don't think that Taylor would be like, I wish you hadn't said something.
Yeah.
Or tweeted something or whatever. Like I think that she probably does agree, especially because Tree is saying things like that she's traumatized and like that this has like really hurt her. Like it sounds kind of like it's coming from the place of like a friend being defensive. Like, I've seen how this is affecting her. You have to stop now.
Yeah.
And so like I think that she's trying to give us a glimpse that Taylor and her are on the same page. But I think that she would have said something regardless because that's her job.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like all of my thoughts on this feel like they're maybe like disconnected. Like when I say that like if she really didn't want us to speculate on her having a miscarriage, then she wouldn't have written those songs. But I also like I don't personally believe that that's what those songs mean. Like I don't personally believe that she couldn't have written Bigger Than the Whole Sky without having that experience. I don't personally believe that You're Losing Me sounds like that. Like I don't think that's the story I'm getting.
So when Midnight's first came out and everyone was like, oh my gosh, like Bigger Than the Whole Sky, what in the world? And a lot of people were saying like that it was how they felt during a miscarriage.
Right.
And so that's what kind of, I think, led to the speculation that that's what it was about. Since then, though, I've seen a lot of people saying that it's about her relationship with Corey Monteith and how it never got to, like, pick up because he got back with Leah Michelle and then he died.
Yeah.
And so, like, I even think that now it's pretty up in the air
what it's even about.
Bigger Than the Whole Sky is about.
Right.
That, yes, it does resonate with people who've had a miscarriage, but it also resonates with people who have just lost a loved one.
Right.
Or, like, have, like, gotten into a relationship and quickly lost it for whatever reason. And so, like, I think if we're gonna speculate that Bigger Than the Whole Sky is not about a miscarriage, then like it kind of pushes You're Losing Me farther out of the question of being about a miscarriage.
Yeah. Oh god. Ugh. Um Yeah, I think it's also like hard with someone specifically like Taylor Swift because this is like kind of the culture. Again, Deuxmoi is not a Swiftie like by nature, but this is kind of the culture that she's created with her fans. Is one where we speculate and she wants us to do so. I think it's like hard to ask this of people, but I also think that Swifties, for the most part, seem to like know kind of where this line is, or some of them. But like it is hard to ask people to just like stop the speculation as it pertains to personal things, to like draw the line at like you can speculate about album releases and you can speculate about these Easter eggs, but don't speculate about what's going on in my personal life. And yeah, I mean, I think maybe to your point, like, the difference is the fact that, like, me and you speculating, even if we speculated here, like, is different than Deuxmoi that has a massive reach and that people read and have, like, assume a level of, like, validity.
Yeah.
You know?
Because that's the other thing is that, like, and, like, I really didn't start reading Deuxmoi's blind items until we started this podcast, and I really only read them when they get reposted.
I really only read the Taylor Swift ones.
Yeah. That you send me. I did, however, before he was a creep, really follow Reality Steve. And I remember that sometimes he would get things wrong, but he would always say like that he does not post information until he fully believes it for himself and has received multiple like sources on it. And I think with Deuxmoi it is different because they're like blind items, but I also don't think that they would post something that they like absolutely know is not true.
And I think if they did, they would like label it as that. Like, we are not sure of this right now.
Right. And so I think, like you said, like people do read it and like believe it because when you are a gossip source, and you have that bigger reach, like you can't just be posting every single blind item you receive because you would never stop posting and because it would get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Eventually, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, like, my overall opinion is that, like, I think it is in poor taste for Deuxmoi to post something like that. But I think, like, my personal... I don't know why I, like, separate, like, my personal opinion on the morality of something so far from like people saying what Deuxmoi did was like wrong and they need to be held accountable. Like, I don't know what you hold them accountable for, like because I kind of think this is what they do. So it's like hard for me, like would I do that or like someone to do that about me? No. But I also am like I'm a little like I don't know why we're shocked and I don't know what we want them to do.
Yeah. My opinion is that it's shitty. But also is not something I would ever put past someone like Perez Hilton.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I feel like I hold Deuxmoi to a higher standard than other gossip sources, and maybe I shouldn't. Like, maybe I should think the same thing. Like, oh, I wouldn't put it past Perez Hilton. Like, I also probably shouldn't put it past Deuxmoi.
Yeah.
But regardless, I do think it's icky.
Yeah.
And I think that the difference is that I already don't like Perez Hilton.
Yeah.
Because the way he posts things, at least in the past, has been to mock, not just to gossip.
Yeah.
And so I've already been like anything he posts, I'm like, ugh, like he just is kind of an icky person. But
Yeah.
Deuxmoi hasn't ever done anything that I've been like, oh, canceled in my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do think that I think we have discovered that there are certain things that I just can't do, like be on Big Brother and
Mhm.
maybe be a gossip website.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could ever post and speculate that anyone had a miscarriage, like some or like something that personal.
Mhm. Yeah. I do think like if I had the reach that Deuxmoi had and I received
Mm-hmm.
that blind item, I feel that my instinct would be I'm going to keep this
Yeah.
to
Well, and I
myself.
think like right, and I think and I know that like miscarriages, one, they are like medical information, but also like just like very deeply personal and like tragic. But you also like I don't you wouldn't post like, oh, guess what, like Taylor Swift has PCOS,
Yeah.
like just like medical information. And so like it just I don't know, like because that also is personal, like
Mhm.
I don't know. It just feels like a weird thing to gossip about, I think,
Yeah, it's true.
is why I find it odd. Like, there's nothing about that I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
scandal.
Yeah. It's definitely usually the type of thing that we like wait and they have a moment, not like wait because we're not waiting, but like it's one of those things that you'll see a headline that's like Taylor Swift has shared her story of a
Yeah,
time that she struggled. Like that's like the type of thing that we have kind of mostly as a society like been like that's something someone will share if they want.
right,
Um
right.
yeah. I don't know. Along with all this, people are also theorizing that with Tree Pain using words like pain and suffering and trauma, that she might be setting the stage for possible legal recourse.
Yeah, that
And I,
wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, I don't either. I still like wonder what you can do. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know that it's like defamation just to say you think this happened in someone's life, but I guess we'll see. Also, I think like my final thought on this is like kind of like you have said, like I think it would be one thing for us to listen to the song and go, huh, it seems that this song is about pregnancy loss. Like, I wonder if she wrote that from her own experience, or
mm-hmm.
perhaps from her mom's, or perhaps from a friend. Like, huh, I wonder who she knows who's gone through that. And then we move on.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I have said this before, like, not on the podcast, but she has mentioned, like, in Maroon, she mentions, like, bruises on a collarbone. Like, no one's sitting around really talking about that, but like sure you could say, huh, I wonder if that's an experience that she's had, and then move on. But no one's
Yeah,
writing in blind items and saying like, and now we know that Joe was physically abusive because she wrote
yeah,
Maroon. So I don't know.
yeah. I think you had a really good point that there are like there are some things that people have to own for themselves.
Mhm.
Like where it's 2023, like we don't out people anymore.
Mhm.
I think if like and I don't pay a whole lot of attention to Deuxmoi on my own, but I think like if Deuxmoi posted and was like Chad Michael Murray was seen kissing a man, like we would be like, what the shit? Like no, like what's on our business? Like
Mhm.
we're not outing him. I think like this is kind of on the same page of like if that happened, you don't need to be the one to tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. Well, this week Taylor did tell us some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She was named Time Magazine's Person of the Year, and she finally spilled some tea. So, to start, the writing was incredible. The writer said, as a celebrity who, by dint of being a woman, is scrutinized for everything from whom she dates to what she wears, she has long commanded constant attention and knows how to use it. Stevie Nicks also said, so they got like interviews with like a shit ton of like really cool people to talk about
Mm-hmm.
her. And Stevie Nicks said, quote, "I don't give Taylor advice about being famous. She doesn't need it." That's so impressive.
Mm-hmm.
She did give us some insight into her relationship with Travis Kelce and spoke about her presence at his football games, saying, "There's a camera like a half mile away, so I don't know if I'm being shown 17 times or once. I'm just there to support Travis. I have no awareness of if I'm being shown too much and pissing off a few dads, Brads, and Chads." Hilarious. Then she gave us some information that we didn't have. She said, quote, "This all started when Travis very adorably put me on blast on his podcast." Side note, I would like to know what on blast means to her.
I think, is she talking about when he says he made her a bracelet and he wasn't allowed to give it to her?
Yeah, I think maybe when he was like, she doesn't talk to people after her shows.
Yeah.
She said, which I thought was metal as hell. We started hanging out right after that, so we had a significant amount of time that no one knew, which I'm definitely grateful for. By the time I went to that first game, we were a couple. I think some people thought they were seeing our first date at that game. We would never be psychotic enough to hard launch a first date. End quote. And I kind of like her getting this very much earned backbone and confidence that I am Taylor Swift, and I just think I would be I don't want to say we would never be psychotic enough because people actually thought they did that. So is she calling us all crazy? But I think she's fine with that. She's that would be crazy.
Yeah.
You understand that would be crazy.
Yeah.
She follows this up in what I can only take as a dig to Joe Alwyn when she explains that actually it takes quite a lot of effort to make sure that no one knows you're together, and that it is very easy for her and Travis to show up for one another because they are proud of each other.
Mm-hmm.
They also got into some talk about Reputation Taylor's version. She described the Reputation set in the Eras tour as a goth punk moment of female rage at being gaslit by an entire social structure. Also, genius. That could be a lyric.
That's metal as hell.
Yeah, it is. She promises that the upcoming Vault tracks on Rep TV will be fire, which I feel we didn't doubt for a second.
No.
And in one of her captions of her Time magazine photo shoot, she capitalized specific letters in trust issues, the R and then 4 S's, so presumably reputation and then like a snake.
Yeah. One of her captions also matched her caption from announcing Netflix's Rep Tour film.
Mm-hmm.
So the one where she said Time, we're making you person of the year, and she said me, can I bring my cat, matched what she said about her conversation with Netflix over the cover art for the film.
Mm-hmm.
Also an art piece was released along with the magazine, including random it had a lot of Easter eggs,
Mm-hmm.
including random letter beads placed throughout. That the letters were VIOPETR, which people are moving around to be Rep TV.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know what the I and the O are.
Yeah. I don't know. I think of a business. I don't I'm independently owned, but I don't know. I don't know.
Well, is it independently owned when it becomes a Taylor's version?
Maybe. I don't know that she would need to tell us that, but
yeah. Also, there's a watch pointing to a 12 and a 7, which people think is some kind of date. Specifically, they thought it was December 7th, which was yesterday, so no.
Yeah.
And then there's a toy snake next to a bracelet that says Taylor's version. The piece is it's an image of her made up of tiny things. and has over 35 hidden pieces nodding to each era. I people are like, that has over 35 Easter eggs. Those aren't Easter eggs.
Mm-hmm.
They're not Easter eggs because they're not secrets. Like, they're like, oh, cowboy boots. And that's not an Easter egg.
Yeah.
They're just cowboy boots.
And we all know,
Because
like,
that's relevant. Right.
right, yeah.
But
Yeah.
over 35 hidden pieces.
Hidden little Taylor symbols.
Right. Like, because, I mean, most of it is buttons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not going to name the amount of pieces in the art because some of them are irrelevant. They're just buttons.
Yeah.
But over 35 pieces that symbolize something.
Yeah. In the magazine article, she also spoke directly about Kim Kardashian releasing an illegally recorded phone call. I don't know. I was shocked by this. Like, she has, like...
Has she mentioned it?
Yes. Like, she has, like, not spoken about this really. And to, like, mention Kim Kardashian by name was, like, a little shocking to me.
I don't think I was shocked because of, like, the context in which it came up. Like, when she's talking about how it, like, ruined her career.
Yeah.
For a pretty significant period of time. And I think that, like,
I just think she's usually very
this
vague.
is how it happened to her.
Yeah. And I get, like, the Time magazine article, like, the Person of the Year piece is, like, different in that, like, it's one of the only times she has, like, sat down and, like, just talked about stuff, you know? But, yeah, I was, like, I just feel like she's usually very, like, vague, and it's just, like, you know, that time that my career was ruined.
Also, I listened back to the phone call recently, and I feel like people were pointing out that I think part of the problem was that she was trying so hard, like, to be polite on the phone call, that she was like, it was very clear that she wasn't okay with it. Also, like, he lied to her. So what she agreed to wasn't what she thought she was agreeing to. But she clearly, like, wanted to say no, it sounded like, and she was saying yes. So I feel like now that she is where she is and her career has come back and, like, fully is, I mean, it's been back for a while, but, like, now that it is where it is, I think that she can, like, unapologetically and firmly speak about what happened. Because when she was trying to be polite to them before, it got her nowhere. You know? I like in the phone call, like, my favorite part was somebody was like, I love the way she just said, like, and it doesn't matter if I sold 7 million records before that incident, which I did. You still said what you said.
Afterward, Kim Kardashian posted a story on Instagram wearing a snakeskin jacket, which people felt was symbolic.
She has got to let that snake shit go.
Yeah.
Also, I saw in the interview that while she did mention Kim Kardashian by name, that she also kind of said that, like, Kim, like, had to defend her husband. And she's no longer in a place where she does.
Yeah.
So, drop the Taylor's a snake narrative. Because, one, it's not true. It's been debunked. But, two, you've got a silver platter extended to you.
Yeah.
You're not married to him anymore.
Yeah.
I don't can say, like, I got roped into it because he was my husband at the time. Now, I realize it was wrong.
I regrets.
I shouldn't have done that. He should have been honest with her or whatever, and, like, move on. But the snake stuff is, like, so annoyingly tired.
Yeah.
And, like, it just isn't, like, people were so into it, and I think that's why she holds on to it. So people were so into it when it was happening, but now it just makes her look stupid because everyone knows that that's not what happened. Like,
Yeah.
everyone knows now that they lied.
Yeah.
So, like, why
Well,
are you still pushing it?
and, like, she posted that story only after people were blowing up comments on her photos with a bunch of snake emojis. So, like, unfortunately, Taylor Swift owns snakes now.
Yeah. I mean,
You must move on.
she has since,
Yeah, like,
what, 2016?
you must goodbye. Goodbye.
Yeah.
No more snakes for
I
you.
also, like, it's just, at this point, anyone trying to go up against Taylor Swift is embarrassed. It is inherently
Silly. It's
embarrassing
silly.
because there is no competition.
Yeah.
And I think, and like, when I say that, I mean, like, there are people who are as talented as Taylor Swift
Of course.
in the world, but they're not trying to compete with her.
Right.
If you're trying to compete with her, she's already won.
Yeah.
And you need to drop it because
Yeah.
it's asinine.
Yeah.
To continue it. Also, though, I maybe I just read the wrong information, but I had seen that part of vigilante shit was about
That's what
Taylor Swift
yeah.
and Kim Kardashian forming a friendship.
Well, that's the theory that I had heard. Yes, was like, she looks so pretty driving in your Benz. Lately, she's been dressing for revenge. Was about Kim.
Yeah.
Obviously, like me, thick as thieves with your ex-wife. Yes, I had heard that. I mean, I don't know that anyone like knew it, but yeah, I think people thought it. But again, like maybe it's like a predictor. Hey, look at me. One day, thick as thieves with your ex-wife. But yeah, so since the piece, sources close to Taylor, whatever that means, have said that basically she will not move on, or like, I mean, move on, I guess, is like silly, but like will not like forgive Kim or like be friends with Kim until she receives a public apology from Kim. Which, while I again think is like very fair, I'm also shocked. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, what?
The public part?
Yeah. I like could not imagine a world where Taylor Swift would not be fine with you just ringing her line and being like,
right.
I'm sorry.
Maybe don't ring her line, but like text her or something.
Yeah, she'll never answer your fucking phone call again.
No. She said that she didn't answer phone calls for like a year from anyone.
Yeah. So, we'll see if we ever get that public apology. Although I'd say the snake story on Instagram is not...
Chances are slim.
Not a great sign. Alright, on to the Bachelor in Paradise finale, which took too much time out of my life. I thought it was incredibly boring and good God, way too long.
Yeah, I think I jumped in at like after the first hour and they were at the wedding and I was like, what could possibly have happened?
Nothing important.
For an hour leading up to this. Every like recap I read was like, it started with like, this was 3 fucking hours.
Yeah, that's silly. So Mari and Kenny, as we have speculated here on this podcast that it would be, came in and got married on the beach with only the other cast members as guests, as if they would not want to get married in front of their own family and friends. Now, of course, we know that they had an actual real wedding very recently, but I just find it strange that ABC thought that anyone watching that wedding would have, like, thought that it was real and would have thought, like, these people loved their time on Paradise so much that they wanted to come back and have a special wedding. No, they didn't.
Did Blake come back just for the wedding?
Yeah, he was an usher, but I didn't know if, they didn't mention him, really, until he went and had a talk with Kylie, but he was an usher, but I kept thinking to myself, like, was he supposed to be the usher the whole time? But he couldn't have been if he was in a couple, because they were all sitting in couples.
Right.
But maybe just as people were leaving the beach, they were like, "You want to be an usher? Do you want to stay and
You
be
don't,
an
Kenny?
usher?" Yeah.
Yeah, they're like called everyone who hadn't made their flights yet, and they're like, "Hey,
Stay.
actually,
Yeah.
we need help."
So the way that
sorry.
Oh.
I was just gonna say I missed most of like ceremony part, but had to watch that god awful rave reception, and everyone was like, "I love weddings." I was like, "This is not a fucking wedding." First of
No,
all,
yeah, they were like, "I love wedding
secondly,
receptions." This is the
yeah,
same as every end of
I
season
was like,
party that we've ever watched.
right, and they're just at the regular bar
Yes,
that
they
they
didn't
have
even
every
take them
week.
anywhere.
They're dressed like idiots. I said they showed Aaron B. I said, "Hey, AJ has that top."
Yeah.
My husband laughed. Shout out to AJ.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I like, not that AJ's dressed like an idiot, but it didn't look good on Aaron B.
No, but he was so proud of it.
Oh yeah, he's like, look at me. But like the rave, and then like the fact that there were only like 10 people there.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like the least fun thing ever.
Yeah, not great. So let's talk about how everyone ended. So Jess and Tanner left separately, I think, really to no one's surprise. No. Oh, I forgot to list these people because they're so irrelevant. Mercedes and Jordan left separately. Michael, after Olivia spilled her whole little deal to Michael, telling him that she did want to continue with him and that she saw a future with him, he told Olivia that he did not see them leaving there together or being in a relationship, so they left separately.
Sad.
I was not surprised that Sam and Peter did not get engaged, but I was shocked that she basically was just like, "I do not see a relationship between us." And I'm like,
yeah.
Then why have y'all been so consistently together the whole time?
She was like leaning on him like the whole wedding. Like they looked like they were having fun at the mini rave.
Yeah, I thought she would at least say like, "But obviously we're gonna try this out of here."
Right. It's just strange. But I don't know, she's strange to me.
Mm-hmm.
But also we didn't get to see them really at all.
Ever.
So
yeah.
Maybe because they weren't ever doing anything.
Yeah.
So at the end, Avon and Kylie leave together but not engaged. Instead of doing like an after the final rose situation, they just did like a recap, and they said that Avon and Kylie are still together. I would argue that they were at least still together at the time of Kylie and Olivia's Twitter beef, because Avon was jumping in to defend her the whole time. After all of their conversations this week, I am not surprised by them not getting engaged. I do kind of agree with Kylie. Like, you knew this was how The Bachelorette worked. Why are you not aware that this is how Bachelor in Paradise works?
Yeah.
But as soon as she mentioned Rachel and trying to explain that, I was like, that's not going to go over well.
Mm-mm. Yeah. We have
which
been, like,
I don't disagree with her.
Yeah. We've been, like, wrestling in this house with it because, like, yes, it is 5 weeks. It is 5 weeks. And, like, for her to be so adamant that they must get engaged is, like, maybe in real life is, like, silly. Right. However, yeah, it's like, it's not like Avon didn't know it was 5 weeks, and you got the entire 5 weeks with her, basically. You didn't come in late, so, like, I don't know what else you would have wanted to get to an engagement, and you know that's, like, kind of the anticipated end of this. So I saw this meme that was, like, SpongeBob with his eyes, like, looking in two different directions at two sides of a book, and one side was, like, me agreeing that they shouldn't get engaged after 5 weeks, and the other was, like, me being shocked at how Avon doesn't know how this works.
Right.
And, like, I just am, like, really stuck on, like, what the right answer is.
No, I agree. I think it's silly when anyone gets engaged on Bachelor in Paradise. But I think when we look at the couples that have gotten engaged, usually it is these couples that get together the first week and stay together the whole time. But again, like, not surprised that she was the one who had to, like, concede. And just went with what he wanted, because, like, I think that she would do anything for him.
Yeah, but I also think those two things,
but also, like,
one is compromisable and one is not.
Right. Like, if somebody's gonna concede, it's gonna be the one who wants to get engaged.
They can just wait a little longer.
Right. Aaron and Eliza and Kat and John Henry get engaged. On the little, like, update afterwards, it says that Aaron and Eliza are trying to work on some speed bumps, but I don't know that that means that they're, like, broken up. It just said, like, they've hit some speed bumps and they're trying to work through them. But people are saying that Kat and John Henry are the only happily engaged couple to come out of Bachelor in Paradise this season. They are still together. They're moving to San Diego together. I'm surprised they got engaged, just because it felt like they got together toward the end. But in the last episode, I was, like, kind of watching, and, like, John Henry really seemed to be falling for her. He seemed so smitten with her.
Yes, when he was like, watch her dance.
Yes.
My heart eyes.
I was like, this is the most enthusiastic this man has been in the 2 shows I've watched him in.
Look, we hate Kat here, but that was cute.
Yes. And so, like, I think he was really ready for it. And feels really good about her. So I think it makes sense that he went through with it, because he was so into it.
Yeah.
And it seems like she's, like, opened him up, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I did roll my eyes really hard, though, when she was telling him, like, as soon as you walk down those stairs, my life changed. Bitch, no, it didn't. He was dating Olivia.
Yeah. And you were dating
other
Tanner, and then someone else.
Yeah. Like, the moment he walked down those stairs, you knew your life was changed.
and then Tanner.
Yeah.
And then Tanner started dating someone else.
Yeah. Now, after a finale, people like to finally get to post things. So, a few what I think are noteworthy social media updates. So we find out in the Where Are They Now that Brayden is now dating Christina Mandrell from Zach's season. They have now since hard launched on Instagram with lots of photos and videos from the past few months together. They were pretty cute.
Yeah. They're a weird match, in my opinion. They're cute, but I would never have, like, if you were like, who do you think Brayden would date in Bachelor in Paradise next, I would never have said Christina. But he seems to be a really good fit with her daughter too. Yeah. So I think that's really good for them.
Yeah, I have such a hard time with Brayden too, because I'm like, you went and got in the most serious type of relationship possible. I know. But also, I think that, like, a stepdad role makes sense for him. Yeah. Like, I think, how cute.
Because he's kind of a kid.
Yeah. So.
But.
Cuteness.
The videos with the 3 of them are so cute.
Yeah. Kat. At first I had written Kat has not posted anything, but I stand corrected. She has posted 1 story with a few photos of her and John Henry. Aaron and Eliza have posted nothing. Olivia has posted a montage of singleness. It was very cute. Good for her. Avon and Kylie have also posted nothing. Avon did post on his story a picture of a basketball court that said "My Peace," and then a song by Bryson Tiller titled "Keep Doing What You're Doing."
That is very
cryptic.
No, I was just gonna say a very 14-year-old.
Oh yeah.
Sub post-ish.
Yeah, yeah, it is. As I was typing this, I was like, I'm about to insinuate that him posting a picture of a basketball court means that they're broken up. And I was like, I don't know, that sounds like a reach. But then I was like, you don't need to say, like, my peace, period. Yeah. The day after the finale comes out, if you're, like, happy.
Yeah.
personally.
It like the fact the fact that you're not posting anything about your girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Yikes.
That alone, that's what the people are expecting, and that's what you need to be delivering.
Yep.
Otherwise, everyone's gonna assume you're broken up. And if you don't
Yep.
want people to assume that, if she didn't want people to assume that, somebody would have posted it by now.
It's true. It's true. All right. Well, that's all I've got. All we've got.
Yeah.